How's it going, guys? Welcome back. I've got a mid-patch update for you boys. You see, there's been a lot of changes this patch that I didn't realize went through. There's been new jungle clears that we're going to showcase today, and bug fixes are insanely important right now. So you got to see it. Thank you so much to the YouTuber who actually commented it in my video. I didn't even know they were changing or bug fixing Axiom Arcanist for this patch. So someone put it in my comments. I've been looking for it. I can't find it. I don't know where the comment's gone, but if it is you, thank you so much for letting me know. And I can't wait to show you guys exactly what we found. So let's get started. Now, before we get into the bug fix, I just want to point out his win rate has gone down, dude. Yorik's win rate has actually gone down. Despite the nerf being so small and minimal, he's actually gone down in win rate. Now, this is probably expected because if you think about it, they did take damage out of his kit. They took a lot of damage out of his % health damage to monsters. And if you're new to Yorick, there's a very high chance when you take the red, when you take the Gromp, you're going to be overstaying with Yorick. You're going to be attacking and dealing that % health damage. So it makes sense that his win rate will actually go down because for the average Yorick player that's just starting Yorick jungle or he's playing Yorick top, you're going to be using this non-stop. Whereas the experienced Yorick players, a lot of the time, we actually don't like to use this % health damage. We actually opt to just chuck ghouls onto the camp and just run away. So for us, it doesn't really affect us. So I can tell you guys right now, I've an 80% win rate on this new patch. I'm absolutely killing it with Phase Rush right now. So I don't even notice the nerfs. When I was making the thumbnail for my last night's video, I was trying to figure out what to do as the title. And then I realized that Yorick was actually nerfed. I couldn't even remember when I was making the video, recording it, editing, no idea. So I can promise you, you're probably not going to notice the nerf at all, but it looks like it is having an impact. So that's good. That's very good. You should be excited about that. So Axiom Arcanist has been bugged for some time. And the way it's bugged is that normally when you get a kill, it reduces your ult cooldown by 7% of its current cooldown. If your Maiden's already out though, it hasn't worked on your Maiden. So if I kill this Ziggs, last patch, that wouldn't have affected the Maiden's cooldown. But this patch, you can see, if I go ahead and die, once my Maiden dies, you're going to see this number's going to jump down. And that's one massive benefit to running Axiom Arcanist because you can actually get benefit through running builds such as this. You can see my build right now has only the 20% CDR from Axiom Arc. So it's extremely, extremely valuable if you like going for something like Stridebreaker because you normally don't have access to that much CDR. My standard build at the moment is pretty much this plus a Spear of Shojin. Now, I love this build to bits, but it does have a flaw, and that flaw is only 20% ability haste. But when you pair Axiom Arc with Axiom Arcanist, you actually get a really neat interaction. And that interaction is Axiom Arc actually stacks up. It's 18% of its total cooldown refunded per kill. So you can see if I go ahead and cast my ult, and then I kill this Soraka, and then I go ahead and kill this Siva. Almost forgot her name for a second there. So that's 2 kills I've got. That's 36% of my ult cooldown refunded. Let's go kill the Ziggs as well. So that's 54% of my ult cooldown refunded. So normally last patch, that would have been, that's all it would work. But now it actually adds on the 21% from your Axiom Arcanist. Now that calculation takes place after the Axiom Arc happens. So it's going to reduce it by 54%. And then it's going to add on, it's going to reduce it by 21% of 54 or whatever is remaining on it. So if I go ahead and kill, you can see it reduces it to 63 seconds immediately from the Axiom Arc. And then Maiden dies and it reduces it to 48. So just for reference, my ult went from 133 seconds to 48 seconds off 3 kills using just a rune and Axiom Arc. It is absolutely amazing. Great for Jungle Yorick. Don't know how top Yorick will abuse this very well, but Jungle Yorick, we already built these items. I already take these runes. This is a perfect change for me for this patch. I'm in love with it. To round out this build, if you did want to run this build though, you could literally just run a GA. This gives you the ability to not need CDR because you're getting it through your Axiom Arc and through your Axiom Arcanist. Now, there is a little bit of an unfortunate circumstance with this build, and that's pretty much whenever you get in this position, let's say, for example, I do this, my Maiden dies. I'm now on 133 second cooldown. Now, the benefit of this build is you can pretty much force. You don't need your ult cooldown to play a fight because the more you get involved with the game, the more you play with your team and you start picking up all these stray kills. You start seeing your ult cooldown go down and down, and all of a sudden 3 kills knocks off 60 plus seconds of your ult cooldown. So you can keep playing aggressive. You can keep playing team fight. Now, the only thing to keep in mind, though, is Axiom Arc is when a champion you damage dies within 3 seconds, okay? Whereas Axiom Arcanist is scoring a takedown. They're very different things. A takedown is considered a kill or assist, whereas the kill or assist timer is actually longer than 3 seconds. So a lot of the times, you're going to proc the Axiom Arcanist, but you might not necessarily proc the Axiom Arc, and that's okay. That's where Liandry's comes in. Because if I hit this Ziggs, or I send 3 ghouls onto this Ziggs, just like this, as long as they're hitting him, I'm damaging him. That Liandry's burn is ticking right now. And that's extending my uptime in damaging this guy. So if he dies to someone later on that is in the middle of a fight, guess what? My Axiom Arc reduces my ult cooldown. So Axiom Arc works extremely well with Liandry's. The only item I would probably say you can supplement in on this build, there's actually 2. Number 1 is Collector. Collector as a 5th item is perfectly fine. If you want to run Liandry's Collector, it is pretty funny because you effectively, anyone you kill has 95% of their max health instead. It is kind of insane how strong this combo can be. The other item you can supplement it with is a Serpent's Fang. If you're ever versing anything with heavy shielding, 2 or more shielding champions on the enemy team, you should be buying this straight away. If they have an Irelia that will build Sterix Gauge, you should be buying this. Or if they have a Yone that likes to build the attack speed one, this Shield Bow, you should be buying Sterix Gauge. You should be buying Serpent's Fang, because this is probably the most useful item as a one-off purchase you're going to get into the game, and it fits so well into our build that it is almost perfect. If you don't want GA, you don't have to go GA. I love playing support Yorick and basically just going anti-shield, anti-heal, and just playing as useful as with my team as possible. It is a great setup. You'll have a lot of success with it, I promise. All right, so if you're playing top team, this is an option for you. And if you're in low elo brackets, this is the kind of clear I want you to do every single game on the top team. The benefit of it is you get a nice full clear. You can do this twice, get a scuttle, and also get a grub, and you actually hit level 5 early. Thank you so much to one of my viewers who I was coaching that told me that. That was absolutely, I had no idea. But the important thing here is you don't smite the red, and you hold your third E cast to use on the Krug camp here. So you're going to see I get the red to 1 hit, last hit it, move straight to the Krugs. Now, aim the big one. Don't aim the small one here. Smite and aim the big one, because you want it to break up into the small Krugs. Only then is when you hit the small one, and then you can get a nice E because they all group together nicely, and you can run straight to the Raptors. Now, the way you're going to see me do this is very particular. Now, you're going to see me hit the small one, hit the small one, hit the small one Q, E the whole lot, 1 attack on the big one, and run. The important thing is you need to get that attack on the big one while it is marked by your E. If you do it exactly like that, you'll have no issues at all. All your ghouls will follow the last instruction you give them, which has been to attack the big raptor, and then you can just move straight onto the wolf camp. So you can see right here, we're killing the wolves as we want. Ghouls are going to hit the big one, so we run straight to the blue. Once your E cooldown comes back, chuck them all over, drag this wolf all the way down. We want this wolf to die down here, and there's a very good reason for that. Ignore the small one. If it gets to the position where you can kill it, you can kill it. But here's the big reason you want the wolf to die there. Because you can actually replicate what happens over at the raptor camp with the red buff. There's 2 extra graves here. You can E this camp and run left, and you summon these 2 graves. You have 6 ghouls on the Gromp, and you can run away at 308. Now, if you smite, if you use your second smite, you can actually clear this whole thing by around about 312. Around about that, 312. If you chuck your ghouls, you can then do whatever you want. You can stay and kill that Gromp with your ghouls if you wanted to. You can also run straight for your bot lane if you wanted to. You can do a lot. It's up to you. The only thing this clear doesn't let you do is invade very well. So if you want to do an invade clear, I would probably suggest you skip the wolves, go straight for blue, and then invade their red straight away. You should be able to make it there in time. So for your bottom team clear, what I want you to do is I want you to start at the wolves. Nothing has changed, but we've optimized it a little bit more. So you're going to auto queue the big one. You're going to kite it up. You're going to auto queue reset it twice. You're going to attack the big one twice. And then you're going to switch target to the small one. 2 attacks and a queue. Now what you're going to do is you're going to look for numbers. So you don't have to run the runes I'm running in this build. You can see I'm actually running Absolute Focus in this build. You don't need to run that. You can run whatever you want. But I want you to look for this number, 200 to 270. That's when you can start kiting this up. So it should be an attack, attack, and then one more attack and Q reset. Now, you don't have to cut it that short. If you want, you can take your time, maybe do it a bit more around this location rather than kite it all the way up there. Either way, the more risky you want to be, the faster your clear is going to be. So once you've done that, this is the hardest move in the entire clear. And what you got to do is you got to chuck your E at the Gromp. You've got to walk back this way with your mouse so you can see I've clicked up here. And then you're going to Q raise these ghouls. You don't want them to raise using your E. It's very important because if you wait for your E to raise them, this grave right here is not in range of that Gromp. So that grave won't raise and you'll only have 2 ghouls. So you're going to run straight at the Gromp once it hits. You're going to attack it until your Q becomes available. Then it's a Q auto reset. You're going to smite it, auto smite, and run straight to the blue. You're going to hit the blue once, and you're going to drag it into the bush, and then you can E all your ghouls all the way over, straight into the blue buff. Now, that camp's going to die to the jungle burn, and it's going to die while it's still marked, so it's going to raise a ghoul. So you can see we have 4 ghouls on this blue. Now, we're going to kite this around, and if you do it right, you can actually stand on the other side and even attack it one more time. But either way, we're going to chuck our E, and we're going to take the blast cone out, and we're going to run straight through the mid lane. So if you do this right, you should be able to cross through mid around about 226 to 227. If you're under 230, you're doing well. So you don't have to get this quick. This is absolutely as optimized as you can get, at least as I can get. We're going to go straight for the Raptor camp. Now, when you take the Raptors, it's completely up to you what you do here. If you want to skill your E at level 3, you can do that, and it is a faster clear. But I suggest you wait until you see the Raptors. Because if you skill your E here and your Raptors aren't there, you're actually not going to be able to gank at all until you get level 4. And it's going to screw your early game over. So wait until you see it. Raptors are here. Good. We level our E. So we're going to auto attack. We're going to E. That's going to bring all the ghouls over when they come eventually. After a few attacks, you're going to run straight to the red. Now you're going to hit this and you're going to drag it all the way down. E all your ghouls over. And you can see everything dies to the jungle burn. Now, you're looking for cooldowns here. You're looking for your E cooldown. As soon as it gets to around 4 seconds, you can run. And you can E all your ghouls over from the red buff. Because the goal here is you can either smite it when it comes down and use a smite for this. But you don't have to. If you want to just gun out the red buff instead and then move down a little later, you can. But either way, you should be able to, with a smited clear, do a 308 clear. If you don't smite this, if you don't smite the red buff around here, what I would probably suggest you do is stay a little longer, wait until it gets to around about 300 health, and then walk down, and then you can eat all your ghouls over. And a non-smited clear is around about 313 to 314. It's a lot slower, but the advantage of not smiting this camp, or not smiting the red buff for that matter, is you have smite for the scuttle crap. That's the end of the video, boys. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate everybody coming around. If you haven't already joined that Discord, hit that like button, hit that sub button, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. See you all later.